So here we are, map number 1 of this best of 9. Overgrowth is gonna be the map. Thank you all very much for tuning in if you're watching live or from YouTube. And well, Overgrowth, nice 2-player map, spawning up in the top right hand position. We have got the red Protoss player. He's representing NeuroSoft, none other than Welmu. And his opponent down to the lower left, the blue Zerg. Formerly of SK Telecom, but now joining my insanity, it is Sacsri. So, a Korean versus a European. This is going to be a fantastic series. Very much looking forward to how this is going to be going. So yeah, Penguin was in this map. Unfortunately, he can't be joining me today to be casting, but just making sure that the score is all updated for everyone so we know exactly what's going on. But this is the first map. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, in terms of openings, are we getting anything crazy yet? I can assure you, no. Just very standard stuff coming out from both sides. Nothing early pulls, any proxy, two gates or anything along those lines. Instead, this is all looking very, very good. Whether or not we get we may actually even end up getting a Nexus first out of Welmu, which would be a very greedy opening from him. But it seems to be what he's gunning towards. You can see he's already got those 300 minerals banked up. Sacsri though, he's coming with a drone, so he is keeping a good check on what's happening, wanting to know exactly what his opponent's doing. Responding to this by going for a hatch first. So this isn't too crazy. Up against a Nexus first opening, completely safe. Only thing you really have to be scared of if you are going for a hatch first is just a little bit of kind of cannon danger or anything like that. But for the most part, this should be a fairly normal opening, getting into the mid-game pretty happily, so we'll keep an eye on exactly what these two are going to be doing. We've got the gate now coming down for Welmu. Meanwhile, over on Sacsri's side, this is all looking very economical. He's going for actually a hatch pull build, so this is something you often see up against a gate expand, but can also work really nicely up against a Nexus first. Both players going to be just streaming into this mid-game, pretty much eliminating any early game aggression entirely actually. So this is some really nice stuff that we're getting down. We got the gas before the pool as well from Sacsri, so he's just getting everything that he possibly could do. So, waiting to see what else these two are going to be doing at the moment. Looks like the Cybercore is on its way through. All kind of standard stuff for the moment. The 2 gases, each with 3 probes in it. Nothing untoward there. So what kind of mid-game things can come off of this? Well, most importantly, there is going to be the option to get, obviously, a huge mid-game play in. Both players are going to have a solid economy for that kind of mid-game position. That could be anything from Welmu's side. To be honest, absolutely anything in terms of Immortal Sentry plays, big Stargate plays, all the way up into just a very fast Colossus timing or something like that. So there's certainly a lot on the cards for what Welmu could be throwing out. We'll likely see Sacsri trying to be very responsive to that and just trying to deal with whatever Welmu's doing. And we already see that that's kind of immediately on the cards for Sacsri. Sending in that Overlord, trying to just get as much information as possible, and yeah, just checking through, making sure that he doesn't see anything too scary. Coming back actually in with this Overlord now, in case something was built around this pylon. But note all Welmu's doing, adding in the 2 gateways at the front here. Really nothing crazy in the slightest, and Sacsri's is doing a fantastic job of keeping a huge amount of information going in terms of what he scouts with his Overlords. Nicely done. Anyway, checking around now. Sacsri, in case there's any proxy Stargates or anything proxied at all, or even any just pylons around. Map control is just really on board. This is a fantastic job by Sacsri in terms of seeing everything that's happening on this map. Meanwhile, he's going down the Rotoron. This isn't a strange timing of it in the slightest, just kind of teching pretty bang on. Getting his 2nd gas now, so it's not like this is a 3 gas big Roach play or anything like that. Just a normal mid-game transition. Over on Welmu's side, we do now have the Forge. So this has been seen. This is kind of the tech structure, and I'm hesitant to call it a tech structure because it's not really part of the tech cards, but it is where a lot of the gas is going to be going. Welmu's also playing this really green, adding in a 3rd Nexus. quite a few things are coming through here. They're not going to be able to kill it off, but they may get the probe, which is better than nothing. But more importantly, it's been scouted. And therefore, you know everything that's coming down. And Sacsri, as a ZerG player, really wants that scouting information. Having seen that third, immediately, 16 lings gonna be charging over across the map. Gonna be trying to put on a bit of pressure here. In terms of defense, there isn't actually too much. 6 more roaches also coming across. This third really wants to be cancelled. To be honest, that's the main aim. Otherwise, good number of gateways coming in as a bit of a wall off. Interesting photon can be positioned here as well because, well, just chilling in a nice kind of boxing position off to the side. Good force fields on those sentries from Welmu. Make sure that the lings aren't able to pick off any of those gas-heavy units. But still, Sacsri, he is just flooding with units at the moment. This is getting pretty crazy. There is a huge number of units being produced right now from our ZerG. And this is going to be a little bit challenging to try to defend, especially if those lings were to get through. That is not what you want. The sentry is going to take quite a bit of damage now. Is it going to survive? It's going to be close. Just 4 HP. That is ridiculously close to the mark. More sentries trying to get wrapped around. The roaches coming through as well. A very aggressive play coming through from our ZerG player here. Welmu doing everything he can to try and defend. He's just getting overwhelmed by a sheer volume of units right now. Potent overcharge coming down. The roach is still poking, prodding. A couple of lings going up into the main base. But more importantly, back at home, we just see more roaches. So he's got a couple more lings. He's in no means happy to just deal the damage that he's done, but not going all in off this, hoping that he can deal enough damage without having to do anything insane to end the game. Welmu though, despite most of his army, if he holds this off, isn't in an absolutely dire position. Thanks to this third Nexus, and also thanks to only losing 5 probes, it's not too crazy. Still waiting to see what else Sacsri has got planned. Looks like just a macro hatch and a few more gases getting taken. But Welmu, for the moment, has managed to stabilize. But at what cost? Actually not too much. He's lost a lot more gas than his opponent would have done, because the 7 sentries and 2 stalkers dying. But overall resources lost isn't that terrible. It could be a lot worse. This game could in theory be over by now. But Welmu, he's holding on. He's adding in that Twilight Council now. He's still got a good economy. Just trying to pump out a few more probes. But Sacsri doesn't want this game to be lasting that much longer. 16 more roaches in production, plus 1 nearly done. Roach speed nearly done. It's an aggressive mid-game timing. So, can Sacsri actually break Welmu if he keeps producing? The trouble for Welmu is that he doesn't have any splash damage. He's reliant 100% on gateway units at this stage. His Twilight Council is done and he does have the 1-1 upgrades, but Blink will not be finished by the time this little push comes in. And Sacsri will have slightly closer upgrades than he did with that last shove. Third base, again going to be the target. Where are those force fields? They're very good there, catching a lot of those speedlings. The roaches going up against the proton cannon as quickly as they can. The Mothership Core a little out of position, won't be able to proton overcharge the Nexus immediately, but does get it off now. That means these roaches are going to be zoned out a little way, able to pick up the gateway nonetheless. And this is just some nice control coming through from our ZerG. Welmu though, he's also doing a very nice job of just making sure that he's not taking too much damage here, not overcommitting. Ideally wants to engage in this choke. Goes for the time warp, trying to chase down these roaches now. 1-1 up against 1-0 upgrades, but this Stalker Force does look pretty intimidating. Back for Sacsri, we do have the hatchery on its way down, so a gold base 4th in production. Remember, that's in addition to the macro hatch that's already there. But what's quite interesting is the Spire. This is not a really early Spire, but it is quite a big investment, especially if Sacsri decides to pump out a lot of Mutalisks, maybe going for some kind of tech switch into those Mutas later on. Got to keep an eye for it, but at the moment, Welmu, he's just bouncing back and forth like a pinball between his third and natural, trying to make sure that he can just deal with any damage or any move in from either angle. He's actually trying to find somewhere to go and actually sneaking through some burrowed roaches. This is a really nice play. All going up into that main base now. There isn't much in the way of protection. nor in the way of a defense. This could be a bit of a problem for Welmu. Guaranteed to take at least some probe losses here, but how significant will it be? Welmu, he should be aware this is coming through now. Pulls all of the probes back, the damage already being done. The key thing, oh no, the Zealot blocking the Stalkers. Okay, it's realized it moves out of the way. This is allowing the Roaches to get more damage. At the third, Welmu has caught most of his armor. Nice splitting the force to deal with this threat as it is required. The Forge goes down, that is a perfect loss because of course that +2 upgrade really was something that Welmu has been gunning for this entire game. Quite a tight choke here, these forces zoning out a lot of the Roaches, preventing them from engaging into this force. And with only Roaches and Lings, it's not the scariest army as this game goes on and on. Roaches are getting some more probe kills though, and this is getting quite significant now. 50 workers, doors and acidic spitting of Sacsri's army. Welmu is also going to have to contend with Mutalisks soon. 15 on their way. What is the defense to this? 30 Stalkers and 8 Sentries for now. Welmu, got to be cautious about this ground army as well, but it's still pretty scary. Add in the fact that the Baneling Nest is researching Baneling speed, and you're starting to kind of group together what could be a devastating push if it's able to go down. A lot of Spines also on their way to guard this gold base. Sacsri, doing everything that he can, is just trying to make sure that he can't get counterattacked, can't get dropped, or anything like that that could kind of hinder his late game abilities despite applying all this pressure. Push coming in now towards the third base. Meanwhile, the Mutalisk is waiting to ransack into the main. A couple of Stalkers there could still be quite threatening though, so gotta be very, very cautious where he moves in and how he engages, because these are Blink Stalkers, and they do have the 1-1 upgrades, which means that they're not completely useless up against those mutants. Obviously, as the mutant count gets higher though, Stalkers and Sentries alone aren't gonna be a good long-term solution to them. So Welmu needs to identify pretty quickly how much of a commitment to mutas Sacsri is making. If it's too high, that's when you're going to be running into a lot of problems, because without a good group of Phoenix, you're going to struggle to deal with that in the real late stages of the game. Not quite getting to that kind of endgame mutaflock yet, although rapidly approaching it. Top 30 cost mark is where things get very scary. Forge not going to survive. Again, Sacsri able to delay that third base, but we've got a multi-pronged attack now. A couple of Burrowed Roaches sneaking in towards the third. The Mutas picking apart a few of those Stalkers. Only one Muta has died so far, so really good control coming through from the ZvP at the moment. Welmu having to try and deal with these Burrowed Roaches. Doing a good job of the third, though, thanks to the protection of that Photon Cannon. Meanwhile, still just got a good number of Stalkers waiting up in the main, but this is a very scary force. Behind this, +2 air weapons on its way, but a big engagement now between the third and the natural base. Sacsri loses quite a few Roaches there and does not have enough meters in order to engage this army. Caution really is the way Sacsri wants to play this right now. If he picks apart this army in bite-sized chunks, can do alright. This is still a Protoss, and that in itself is quite scary. Welmu moving across the map, getting more aggressive, knows that he needs to do some counter damage. Can't just leave a ZerG player doing whatever he wants. Still though, waiting to see exactly where the Stalkers decide to go after they jump. Don't want to commit, don't want to get surrounded. Force fields now coming in. The Mutaflock engaging from the flank. A lot of these Roaches managing to get some damage down. The ZerG on the ground doing an awful lot of damage. And also soaking up quite a bit of that damage. Welmu though, he's still posturing, still trying to find a nice little way to go through here, but what is he going to be able to succeed with? Can he find a way to get more damage? Still we wait patiently to see where he goes for. Welmu pretty much maxed out. He's adding in a couple of Archons, which are going to be a lot of help up against these Mutas, thanks to the splash damage against air. But by moving out onto the map, Welmu has allowed his main base to become completely exposed. +2 flyer attack is about to be done as well. Another nice damage boost, but big engagement outside this gold. The Banelings trying to get the connections, get some good damage down here. Meanwhile, the Roaches not able to fend off the rest of that ground army. Resources lost incredibly close, considering we're 20 minutes into this game, and it's going to be the control of these units that is going to make such a big difference through these last engagements. The Roaches, the Mutas, they're fighting up against each other. The Spines really acting as that added layer of defense against this push. Can the Mutas, though, slowly whittle down this army. With their regeneration, it's going to be really, really useful if he can keep them alive. 30 on the field, so 22 more banelings coming through. And if they get the good connections, this Stalker Force suddenly gets a lot less scary. In they come, great blinks from Welmu, but is it going to be enough? Lots of Stalkers now dying, the Roaches, the Mutas pushing through, and due to the Mutas getting a little bit out of position and split apart, those Mutalisks can engage a lot nicer there. The Stalker count diminishing rapidly. GG is called, and there we have it. Welmu takes game Sacsri takes game number 1.